I'm Kelly Wood, and I'm the director of the Center for Academic Success and Transition. And this is...
Hi, I'm Tracy Glaskin. I work with Kelly as well. We're here in our Center for Academic Success and Transition, and we are excited to finally be with you. And again, we apologize and we thank you for your patience.
Yeah. And so as people join us, I see we're up to about 14 folks. We'll kind of keep talking through. For those of you who are incoming transfer students, incoming new students for this fall, just start throwing your questions up in the chat feature, and we'll start talking with you about things that you'd like to hear about. As I said, we're the Center for Academic Success and Transition. And I'm going to close my computer, which is dinging. Hey again, Mary. We work with first-year students in our center. We work with a lot of students, but we really focus on first-year students. We are the program that offers GEP 101, which is our freshman seminar course. And that's something that all of you are going to take this fall. And those of you who are in the honors program will be taking UHC 101. They're similar, but have a little bit different of an approach, but everybody's required to take at least one. Is there anything else you would like to add about GEP?
Our first year seminar course, as Kelly is describing, GEP 101, that course is a 2 credit hour course, and that serves as one of your general education requirements. The course itself has 3 components: the public affairs, learning more about our public affairs mission here at Missouri State, as well as academic skill buildings. We know college and high school are somewhat different. And then also learning a lot about our campus resources. So that course is a required course, as Kelly mentioned, for our first year students. It's also a great opportunity because all of our students in that course are kind of in the same boat, right? We're new to college. We're looking forward to everything college has to offer. It's a great place because, you know, it's a safe space. We can ask questions that sometimes might appear to be stupid, but, you know, we still want to know about it. So it really is, it's a fun course. You learn lots of great things on campus. You actually have work to do in the course as well. Mm-hmm. But it is all solely focused on helping you succeed here at Missouri State University.
You know, you're all transitioning into the college environment. And so we try to get everybody on the same level because you are. You know, you're learning how to be in college, what it means to be a college student. And so we try to put together some great faculty who teach the course, some great experiences and activities. You're going to be, for those of you who are in GEP, which is the majority of you, you'll be in the class for 8 weeks. And each week you'll meet up to 2 times, sometimes via Zoom, but mostly in person at least once. And you'll have conversations in class about what are you learning, who are you meeting, what are study strategies for you, what are the resources on campus. So one of the things you'll hear a lot about is campus resources. And sometimes new students don't realize that part of your tuition and fees to Missouri State helps provide services to you on campus. So we've got a really awesome counseling center. We have a great student engagement area where we have student organizations across campus, 300, 400 different types of student groups that you can join. And so we talk about those things. We talk about meeting your faculty and how to engage with faculty, because sometimes they can be a little scary, you know, that they're unapproachable, but we really try to break down that barrier and help you understand what things are on campus. So think about us as sort of your guide to interpreting what college is and what it means to be a first-year student and to be successful. So it looks like Tracy's put in there about campus resources. So some other campus resources. We've got a wonderful tutoring center and writing center. It's called the Bear Claw, CLAW, and that stands for the Center for Learning and Writing. And this is a place where you can get tutors by certain subject areas. Math is a course that a lot of folks struggle with. And so we know that, and we put tutors towards that. That's part of your tuition and fees to cover that. While I'm thinking about it too, you'll notice that we have masks on. And so you're going to be required to wear masks in our campus buildings. And so we are doing that to show you what it looks like, and hopefully you can hear us okay, and that it's okay even with masks on to have good conversations with folks and to be able to do the things that you need to do. It looks like, let's see, what would be the best way to find out about clubs? There's something called Campus Link, right?
Yes.
Campus okay. Link. Campus Link. And there you can go on to Campus Link. So somebody asked about how do you find out about clubs? You'll have a Campus Link account that you'll log into through your My Missouri State portal. And you can search alphabetically for the student groups, or you can say, I'm interested in outdoor activities, for example. Type in outdoor activities and it will give you the list of organizations that focus on that. Maybe you're interested in poetry and writing. So you could type that in and learn about poetry or writing groups that are on campus. There's a campus group for just about anything you have an interest in. Esports, intramurals and things like that. So lots of different organizations. And it's the reason we have those organizations is to get you connected with people so that you can find others who have that same interest. And maybe you find a study partner, or maybe you meet some people from across campus who are maybe not in your major, for example, and that you can make some additional connections.
One of the great things about Campus Link as well is, as Kelly was mentioning, that we have over 450 student organizations. And when you look on Campus Link, if you're looking for a student organization that focuses on sports, or looking at different faith-based options, or maybe looking for something related to animals or different things like that, it's kind of broken up like into large subject headings. So that was a great way. It's easy. A lot of the student organizations have meetings, and you can learn about the different organization and you can get involved. It's a great way of kind of getting started with some leadership roles as well. So, and we have an office that has full of people, full-time staff, as well as our student leaders who also work in the office, who are more than happy. We kind of refer to them as engagement coaches.
Yeah.
So they're more than happy to work with you to help you find a couple of organizations that are going to be really help you feel right at home at Missouri State. So we definitely invite you to check that out.
Right. I see some other folks have joined us. Welcome. I'm glad you found us. After some technical glitches, we finally got on. I'm Kelly Wood from the Center for Academic Success and Transition, and we have Tracy Glaskin here. She's the Associate Director of the Center, and she also is our leader and coordinator for GEP 101, which is the freshman seminar, the first-year seminar that all students will take in the fall. I see a couple of questions have come in about masks, and I will tell you that we are providing a couple of cloth masks to students on campus. Those will be available in the first couple days of the semester, either in a building that you go into or from your faculty. But definitely bring what you want. You can see Tracy's got a cloth mask. I've got a surgical one. It's really just based on what you want to. There's some great ones that you can order online. And of course, there's Missouri State branded ones that you can buy. And so that's a little bit about the masking, and we will be able to provide them for you. Let's see, what else?
So if you're struggling the first couple of weeks of the semester, right? So let's think about that. So when we think about high school and college and what things may look like, when we think of high school, I bet there's a good chance that some of you maybe didn't have to study. Maybe you didn't have to, as my father used to say to me, crack a book, and different things like that. But when you come to college, we know you're going to have to do some studying. What if you don't know how to study because you never had to study? In our GEP 101 course, again, we will talk a lot about study skills, but we have the different resources. But there's just some things you might want to kind of be thinking about as you go to getting ready to take your first exam. It won't take you very long at all when you're in the classroom to realize the material is a lot. The notes are not just going over stuff that you have read, but the instructor always adds to them. You may have to try some different ways of taking notes. Maybe taking notes for you might be a new experience. We would encourage you to maybe try some different approaches. Maybe rewriting your notes, maybe using some note cards, maybe getting together with a couple of people and kind of comparing notes.
Right.
You know, when you've got several different people, you can kind of see, well, what did you think was important? I don't know. Try teaching back the lesson to a friend. And if it's not making sense to you, then you know you're probably missing some gaps. So all those things to say, oh yes, and
our lights went out.
Our lights went out, right? But you may want to, again, you're gonna have to experiment with taking notes, taking tests, right? In high school, maybe we just had an exam over one chapter. In college, it's very common to have an exam over 3, 4, 5 chapters. Your reading load is going to be a lot higher. Maybe reading is going to be something where you're going to have to discipline yourself. So you're definitely going to want to do that. But again, we have resources. We have academic advisors. Every student will be assigned an academic advisor within a couple of weeks of going through your SOAR session. So an academic advisor might be a new experience for you, but if you think of an academic advisor sort of like as your college navigator, they are the person who you can go to when you have any sort of an academic related question. Maybe you don't know what you're thinking about as far as a career goes. You're going to talk to your advisor a little bit about that. Maybe you're thinking you want to do nursing, you take your first exam, it doesn't go well. What do? You're going to talk to your advisor about that. Maybe you are thinking about classes for the next semester, but you have no idea what you're going to take. There's so many options. One great thing about college is that we have so many different courses for you to look at. But your advisor is really dedicated to help answer those questions. Maybe you've heard a roommate talk about a repeat policy, and you're like, well, what does that mean? We can really repeat a course? Sounds too good to be true. I need to talk to my advisor about that. So each person has an academic advisor who will be assigned to them. And we really encourage you to go to your advisor and ask questions, and they'll also reach out to you. And that might be another new experience. But I think once you realize how much your advisor can answer questions and really help you work your way through college, I think you're definitely going to want to reach out to them quite often.
Yeah. I see there's a question about online support. And maybe some of the folks from admissions can talk a bit about online SOAR, but somebody asked about online support for classes that are online. The tutoring center, so the Bear Claw, as I mentioned, CLAW stands for Center for Learning and Writing. So there's both a writing center and then an opportunity to get a tutor in a specific subject area. They're going to provide online tutoring. We want to be as safe as possible. So students are going to be able to get on the Bear Claw website and make an appointment online. You'll go into Zoom or you'll go into Blackboard Collaborate. Now, Blackboard is our online learning management system. And within Blackboard, they have a video-based conferencing system. It's called Blackboard Collaborate. And so you'll be able to set up and have an appointment like that. You can share screens, so you can show them what you're looking at. They can show you what they're looking at. So online tutoring and support for online courses is really important. And I think those of you who are going to have online classes this fall, talk to your GEP instructor about that. That would be something great, maybe in a discussion board that you have or in class discussion. What's the best strategy for online classes? Because they're a little different than your face-to-face classes. You know, you're required to do a little bit more of your own time management, setting your deadlines based on what the professor provides. So, you know, you're going to have to keep that in mind, that you'll have to do a lot more of your time management in an online class because it's all going to be in that learning management system. Now, what we try to do is set up like a weekly module. What do you do in week 1? What do you do in week 2 and week 3? So we're going to try to help you through a lot of that in GEP 101. Because all of you are going to be in that same situation, and that's what your faculty member in GEP is there to help you sort of, as Tracy said, navigate that process of what it means to be in an online class. So what are some other things?
We've been talking about looking at study away options. That's something that, you know, we're going to have to just see, honestly, what everything looks like in a few months. Our study away office is very equipped to work with students, and they're definitely looking to see what might be possible. Study away is something that you have to have at least 30 credit hours before you can study away. So for many of our first year students, it's not possible anyway. So we're going to keep our fingers crossed that inside of a few months, we'll be back on track with study away options. And you can study away should you decide to do so. We have programs that are just 1 or 2 weeks. We can study away for an entire summer, an entire semester, even in some programs for an entire year. That's another thing. We're going to talk to your advisor and make sure you plan accordingly. But again, we are working very closely to make sure that we can offer that when the situation presents itself. So look into it now, because it does take some time to study away. You need to make sure you get your passport and all different things like that. So usually the study away group will tell you to try to allow several months before you would even want to study away. So you can start looking into it now and ensure that you have plenty of time to do so.
Somebody asked about the library, and while the Bear Claw is in the library, and we're also in the library, it's open. It's like all our academic buildings on campus. So it's not going to be by appointment only. You'll be able to walk in, check out books. There's a computer lab that's in here that's practically 24 hours a day during the semester. And if it's after hours, so the library is going to close, I think, about 10 o'clock each night on the weekdays. You can get into the computer lab with your Bear Pass ID after hours. But that's really just the computer lab. The rest of the space is open. You'll be able to study here if you'd like. There will be social distancing. And so not every seat is available side by side, but it's an important place. The library is where a lot of folks come because if you don't find yourself being able to study in your residence hall, the library is a nice space. They have comfortable couches and booths. There's a coffee vendor in the lobby. So you'll find that there's some neat nooks and crannies in the library. There's some of my favorite study spaces are here. That it's a great place to be. And you can also study in academic buildings. You can study in the Plaster Student Union. That's where a lot of students will hang out. So let's see what else. Those buildings will be open to all students as long as you have a mask, right? Courtney, I see that you put that in there, that it's like any other building. You're going to need to have your mask when you come in here, and even when you're sitting down and studying, because as you're studying, you're still breathing. You're still able to be susceptible. So you've got to have your masks on in all the buildings.
Let's talk a little bit about professors.
Okay.
Right, we've got those professors who we're going to be in their classes, and how do you go about building relationships? Because we've heard oftentimes that, they're mean and scary. Who wants to go and chat with a professor, right? But we want you to. I got to tell you, all of our faculty on campus are required to have 5 office hours a week. They're called office hours. We like to try to think of them more as student hours. That's time that's set aside for their students to stop by and visit with them. Now, honestly, a lot of times students will stop by to ask a question about something. Maybe you're in class and you're trying to take notes and you missed something and you're like thinking to yourself, oh, just my luck, it's going to be on the exam. Mm-hmm. And you need to find out what the information was that you missed. You can stop by and talk to your faculty member and get that information. But there are lots of reasons why you want to stop by and visit with your instructors. First of all, these are people who are experts in their field. They know a lot of what's going on as far as in the industry, research opportunities, what would be a good summer job to look for, what might be an internship. They have connections. And if nothing else, sometimes they just have really cool hobbies that you want to learn more about. So I think about some of the conversations that, instructors will have with their students. And I have to tell you that oftentimes usually brings a real smile to their face. We know a lot of times when we have office hours, students aren't going to stop by, right? We're probably going to be sitting there doing our prep or doing our grading. But when students do stop by, that's definitely something that you definitely want to talk about. So I would encourage you to reach out to your instructors, try to get to know them, see what they can help you with.
Right.
If you're coming into college and you're kind of undeclared, you're thinking to yourself, I don't know what I want to major in. I don't know what I want to do. If you're at a course that you're taking your first semester, and if you're actually enjoying the homework and you're actually enjoying the reading, I usually tell my students that's a good time to stop by and talk to your instructor and be like, what can I do with a career in, or with a major in a certain course? So that would definitely be something you would definitely want to do.
Yeah.
I don't know if you have anything else you want to
Yeah,
add.
I mean, getting to know faculty and making a connection with a faculty member is one of the things you've got to do while you're here. So part of your experience is, as we said earlier, making use of the resources on campus, getting to know other students and developing those relationships, and then also working with faculty and staff. It's really important that you have a faculty member or your advisor or somebody that you can go to when you've got questions. It may not be every faculty member every semester that you have that connection with, but there will be somebody. But if you don't reach out to somebody and say, I'd like to come in during office hours, or I'd like to talk with you a little bit more about your interests, that's where you start to make those connections. And if you think, since we're talking about the first year experience, we're really helping you think about, what do you do as a first year student? What are those tips for success, and how to navigate the space? Make a connection with a faculty member. We hope that the first connection you make is with your GEP instructor or your UHC 110 instructor, because those are folks that are going to know you, know your name, know a little bit about you, because they're required to have a one-on-one with all of you. So you're going to meet outside of class with that person and get to know them a little bit better. And then as you move on into your major classes and into upper division classes, your faculty members there, you'll get to know even more, because you might have a second or a third class with them. They then eventually in your junior and senior year become a person that you could ask for a letter of recommendation for an internship or a scholarship, or that job that you want to apply for when you're ready to leave, when you're ready to graduate and move into your career. So it's all about small steps, getting to know your faculty, finding that person that you connect with, and then moving into your upper division major courses and creating that professional relationship with them, because they're going to be the folks that write you letters of recommendation. So don't force it at the beginning. Not everybody's going to be in that space ready for you, because it's like I said, small steps to get to know your faculty and staff members on campus. So what are some other things? I just noticed I dropped an earring too, so go ahead.
Another question that's kind of popped up as far as kind of going back to the free tutoring that we have through the Bear Claw. For the fall semester, things are, yes, they're going to look a little bit differently. Usually the Bear Claw would have where you could just walk up and literally there would be someone there who would be able to help you. The Bear Claw now is going to be doing virtual, but the concept is still the same. Right. Okay, they have their open hours where you can just hop on a Zoom call and they will be able to assist you that way. The tutoring is still free, it's still available, but like other things this fall semester, such again as us wearing masks, it's going to look a little bit differently, but there's still the people who are there to help you. So it'll just be done in a little different format. So please keep that definitely in mind.
So we were talking earlier about online classes, and somebody has asked about that again. You've never taken an online class before. So just to reiterate, we have a couple of different ways to do online classes. If you have an online class, the majority of you are going to get that material via Blackboard. Blackboard is the name of our online learning management system. You probably had something like that at your high school, where maybe some information was online. You went to a web page and you could download documents and share documents. That's what Blackboard is. So once you get logged into Blackboard, there's a list of classes that you're enrolled in. You click on that class. Let's say it's COM 115, which is our public speaking class. You open it up. There's usually a welcome from your professor. It says, hi, this is Dr. Smith. Welcome to COM 115. This is your Blackboard course. And they may even have a get started link where you click on it and they're going to provide for you, here's where your assignments are at. Here's where the weekly schedule is. Here's where you're going to go for more information. So that each link gets you the material that you need. And then maybe there's a link to a reading. And so you read that and then you take a quiz that's on Blackboard and you move on to the next module. So they're usually called modules, where there's a set of things that you need to learn and read from that area. And then at the end of it, you're maybe going to do some writing. You might take a quiz. You may also engage in an online discussion with with the students also in your class and your faculty member. So there'll be a variety of ways. Some of them might want you to do a video. Some of it might be typing and doing a journal or a discussion board. So every class will be slightly different. Some will have some Zoom sessions or Blackboard Collaborate, which is both video-based. It won't necessarily be required, or they may, if you can't make it, they may, sorry, when we don't move, the light goes off. Little humor in the middle there, comedy relief. So everybody's going to do it slightly differently is what I was trying to say. And but you'll put assignments on there. So you might create it in an assignment or a writing in Word, and then you'll upload that file to Blackboard. So a lot of faculty will record their lectures so that as if you were in class, you'll watch that lecture and then maybe take a quiz or do some writing or blogging, or maybe work on a wiki together. So there's a lot of different ways. Faculty can even put you into groups in an online class where you might be randomly assigned to work on a project together where, let's say, for example, we do this in GEP. How do you find out about campus resources? Well, one way you can do that is as a group, find information about, let's see, the Office of Financial Aid. And you want to find out where is it, who's there, what can I find out about it, how do I make an appointment? And maybe once you as a group have figured all that out, you collaborate on a Blackboard, on a PowerPoint slide, and then you upload that slide, and then all the other students in that class get to view that slide and maybe ask you questions about it. So again, every class is going to do it a little bit differently, but for the most part, all of your classes will be using Blackboard as a way to get that, your online classes will be using Blackboard to get that information to you. I hope that helped for those of you. I know there's still a lot of questions about SOAR, but keep asking questions. So if my Blackboard is saying you are not enrolled in any classes, that's good. So if you go into Blackboard right now, you may not have any classes listed. That's pretty typical because what happens is all the faculty right now are finishing the structure of their class. You know, classes don't start until August 17th. You may not have all of your classes loaded in that Blackboard list until the night before or the day of. So for some faculty, they might open up the class early. We have to manually open it up on Blackboard. So it may be the day before, it may be the day of. And so if maybe by Monday or Tuesday of the first week, the class doesn't appear, you can email that faculty member and ask them when that class is going to be available, because your faculty for that course will be listed in your class schedule. Usually you can just click on that link and it'll take you to their email. But I'm so glad somebody asked that, because that's one of the things that new students don't realize is that the faculty member has to make that available to you. And once they do, then it shows up in your list. Now, that's for online classes. For seated classes, some faculty members may wait till the end of the first week to make their course available because they're finishing maybe some groups or deciding what they want to finish in that course. So for online classes, you should see it in the first couple of days. For a seated class, it may be later that week or within a couple of days. What are some other ones? How do you get your idea? No, I'm just looking. I see some of the SOAR questions that our admissions counselors are helping with, so I appreciate that.
A couple of questions about Greek life, fraternity sorority events. You know, things might, again, look a little bit different for the fall semester, but our Office of Student Engagement is working very hard to make sure that, in this way, different's going to be better. So I think, having opportunities for students to get together, maybe in smaller groups, kind of get to really know each other. That will be another opportunity for students to get involved. So just kind of, again, get connected with the Office of Student Engagement. Greek Life, I know, is still going to be working with recruitment. We've got several of our colleagues who are working on that right now. I personally didn't have any details with that, but I do know that they are working very hard to make that experience for our students as engaging. And they're taking a totally different spin on it. They're looking at this as an opportunity to help create friends in smaller groups of people. So I think it's going to be a lot of fun. We've got the experts involved in this. So.
Yeah. I see that somebody's asked about first generation student support. So there's a lot of different supports that we provide on campus. For those of you who are, so we define first generation as neither of your parents have completed a 4-year degree. Now, some of you may have a parent who got a 2-year degree or started college and didn't finish, or you may have some siblings that have a college degree, but we look at it as if neither one of your parents has a 4-year degree. So what does that mean? It means you come to us with real interest in figuring out college. And a lot of this that we're sharing today is probably new to you. And so there are a couple of different ways that with this support, we actually have a student organization called MSU I'm First. And that's the student organization for our first generation students. Sometimes we refer to them as first gen. And we also, with that, do some social events. We do some service events or some community service activities. We provide sometimes panel discussions of current first generation students to have them talk to you about how they made it through their first year. We talk about what it's like to be in college as a first generation student. But our goal really is to make sure that we kind of translate college for you. Some of you are first gen, may be in a section of GEP 101 that's really focused on supporting first generation students. So you might listen for that the first week of your GEP class to see if you might be enrolled in one that's dedicated for first gen students. But even if you're not, you can join MSU I'm First. We have a celebration for first generation students in November. And there are a number of scholarship opportunities that if you're a first generation student that you can apply for the following year, for your sophomore year. But we find first generation students amazing folks, amazing students because they're all new to college and are kind of blazing a trail in their family. And it can be exciting, but a little daunting at times. And so we want to do what we can to support you. Let's see. Are any other questions? Oh, that's right. TRIO as well, and Bearsley. Thanks. So Tracy has added a few more things because I get talking about one thing. I forgot about all the other services we provide. TRIO is a student support service area. Bears lead as well. And so lots of amazing opportunities there. Let's see. I think somebody asked earlier, I'm not sure if it was answered, about, I don't think you need to have your Bear Pass ID to get into the residence halls if you haven't gotten it yet for your move-in. So don't worry about that at that point. Let's see. Oh, Bart says he was first gen. Yeah. Let's see. Some other things that we thought we might let you know about is that we, in our office, we offer academic coaches. So this is kind of a new thing, again, that you may not have realized that college campuses offer academic coaching. So when a couple of moments ago, Tracy talked about coaching for engagement on campus, we also have trained coaches who can help you manage your time, look at your schedule, how are you doing with studying and note-taking and kind of setting goals for yourself. I think one thing that surprises students when they come to college is how important goal setting is, and that you have to align your behaviors and your daily activities with that goal. So they help you identify what's your goal for the semester. Maybe it's a GPA, a certain set of grades that you want to get. Maybe it's that you want to join one group, get a certain kind of grade, and explore majors. And your academic coach can help you do that. Now, there's a couple of different ways to get assigned to an academic coach. And by the way, this service is free. It's, again, part of those campus resources that are available to you. You can request an academic coach from the very beginning. There's a form on our website, so missouristate.edu/academic success, and follow the link to academic coaching. And you can request one. And also, sometimes faculty members may see a need in a student for an academic coach, and a faculty member can actually refer you to receive a coach. So you might get an email that says, we'd like to provide you with an academic coach. Are you interested? So that's another great opportunity that I think is surprising to a lot of students, and that they may need that. And we really think that academic coaching is very helpful to students, just to have somebody to go and talk to either once a week or every 2 weeks to say, how are you doing? Are you managing your stress and your workload? And what can we do to support you? So academic coaching and peer counseling, which is what Tracy's typing in about, that if you would rather have a student work with you on that time management or that goal setting, we have some work study students who have been in your shoes and can help you navigate those things. And I noticed earlier that there may be some transfer students on here who are new to us this fall. And we've got some peer counselors who are transfer students. So that would be a wonderful opportunity for you to get connected with them. And they can help you figure out, what does it mean to transfer? How do you make your way across campus? How do you learn the new ways of this school compared to your other school? So transfer students, that's a really great opportunity. And you can request a peer counselor on that academic coach form as well. So transfer students, that's a wonderful opportunity for you as well. Transfer students, I also encourage you to get involved in meeting with your academic advisor early in the semester. They can be a really important connector to you on campus for your major. And if you're undecided about your major, we have amazing academic advisors in our advising and transfer center that will help you make those connections and to learn a little bit more about majors and connections to careers, and then they can maybe steer you towards finding that home, that academic home. Let's see.
Let's talk a little bit about time management, right? So
Sure.
when I think about the difference between high school and college, I think about, in high school, so much of our time was accounted for. We were in the class maybe from, I don't know, maybe you had an interesting start time like 7:48 or something like that. But literally you're in class from 8 in the morning until about 3 in the afternoon. And that's 5 days a week. When you get to college, you may only be in the classroom for 15 hours a week. That's a big difference. And so that's a lot of time that now you're going to find yourself having. And many times we think, oh, we've got so much time, we can get our homework done anytime. Time management really comes into play. We find with a lot of our students, particularly our first year students, academically speaking, sure, they're smart enough. They got themselves into college. We got to Missouri State. But how do we stay here? And a lot of times the decision making that comes from time management really comes into play. So I put a little tip on there before about using an academic planner. You have to do more than just buy an academic planner. You actually have to use it. You actually have to use it.
Right.
You have to hold yourself accountable. You have to schedule in your study times. You're going to schedule in your times you're going to get together with your friends. You're going to schedule in your times you're going to go and have your lunch and your dinner when you're going to be in the classroom. But that time where you're going to be doing your homework and trying to stick with it. We find that the reading load that students have in college is a heavy reading load in comparison to what they had when they were in high school. So it takes time to read those chapters. It takes time to write a 10-page paper. You're not going to just crank one out a few hours before it's due. So learning how to take a project, whether it's an exam or a paper, and breaking it down into manageable pieces and scheduling that time out, it's far easier than to actually doing it. And that's where, working with academic coaches, your peer counselors, your advisor, your instructors, your friends, that can really help you out. So you'll have a lot of time to be able to do everything you want to do, but just make sure you spend some of that time actually doing your homework as well.
Yeah. there'll be a good set of activities in your GEP class about time management. Look forward to that. I see somebody asked a question, how do you find scholarships for first-year students? So that, for this year as first-year students, the scholarship application was due back by March 1st. However, you will be able to apply for scholarships for your second year up until March 1st of this year. So just know that the scholarships that I was talking about earlier was for first-generation students. However, all students can apply for scholarships for next year. And next year, for you as a sophomore, junior, or senior, based on your level, I think I hear a little beep when it's about ready to go. When you do that, you're probably going to be filling out you will be filling out an application that might ask you what your major is, what community service you're involved in. And then that one single application connects you to all the scholarships that you're eligible for. And so what's really nice is you don't have to search for all the different ones that apply for you. You fill out this one common application and it puts you into those that you're eligible for by college, by your academic major and your minor, as well as activities and student groups that you're involved in. So let's see, what was another question? How many credits do you need to get an associate's degree? So at Missouri State University Springfield, we only offer the 4-year degrees. We don't do an associate's degree. We do that through West Plains. That's our West Plains campus. That's where they offer the associate's degrees. So here at Missouri State, we offer 4-year bachelor's degrees. And so I'm glad that you asked that question. At our campus here in Springfield, Ozarks Technical Community College, they offer associate's degrees, and I believe it's 64 hours, in that range, 63, 64 hours. That is what is required for an associate's degree. Let's see. Finding a job on campus. We have the Student Employment Office that will advertise jobs that are available. They will also have a virtual job fair in late August to highlight all of the organizations and offices that have jobs available on campus. So there's 2 ways to find jobs on campus or to have jobs on campus. One is if you're eligible for work study and that you have, I think, until either tomorrow or the day after to accept that work study to make you eligible for a job. And then student employment. Student employment is for departments that have funding to hire students to work in their office. So I want you to get on the student employment website for Missouri State and look at the openings that they have. What's great about student employment is you get connected to staff members on campus or an academic department, and you might get to meet the faculty in that department because you're working in that office. Many of them allow you to work at a desk, work in a space. Sometimes you might be able to study while you're there, but sometimes you're going to be interacting with people that come to that office or with the staff members there. And it's just an amazing way to get connected with somebody on campus. You might learn some new skills, some office skills, some technical skills. So there's a variety of student job types here. So we'd like you to look into that. Let's see. What's another one? What kind of stuff can I get involved in? You know, the Office of Student Engagement, which Tracy's going to pop in there. I think you ought to look on the campus link and the student engagement website for a variety of ways to get involved. Student employment is one way of getting involved on campus. Joining a student organization, going to events on campus. While they might be a little bit different this fall because of COVID, there'll still be activities. We're going to be doing a combination of in-person and virtual events. Maybe watching a movie together virtually and then having a discussion board about it. So lots of opportunities that you'll hear. Yes, opportunities doing research with faculty. Let's see.
How about My Missouri State? So all of you will have access to what we call My Missouri State. That is a website that will contain your information. If you want to know about, maybe you're looking for, when do I get to register for classes in the spring? What is my last day to drop a class? Who is my academic advisor? How much money do I owe, right? Or maybe what kind of scholarship am I getting? All the answers to those questions, you'll be able to find a lot of those answers on My Missouri State. It's a great, I would encourage you, once you have access to that, to go ahead and just start flipping through and looking to see what information that contains. I know a lot of times I will direct students to that page on My Missouri State because that's a great way to help answer a lot of their questions.
And for those of you who are taking GEP, you'll, in your Blackboard course, there's a video that we've made available that you can watch that will give you the step-by-step ways of using the My Missouri State portal. You know, how, like Tracy said, how to find classes, how to look at drop deadlines, look at your account balance. There's also information in there that I'm sure a lot of you have used already about your book list. But that will give you a good overview and help you learn to navigate that. And don't worry about getting it right the first time. It takes a while to find all the different links. There's so much more resources on there than you can really process to begin with. But just learn the basics to start and think about your time in GEP in your first semester here to learn that and to get comfortable asking people how to do it and where to find something.
One of the questions is regarding how do I find out more about classes? We have a Missouri State undergraduate catalog. Contains a list of all the majors at the university. It also contains all the policies that we offer. But if you're thinking to yourself, I have no idea what I would even want to major in, or you're thinking, I think I know what I want to major in, but I'm not really sure what those classes are going to look like, you can look at the undergraduate catalog, which is available online, and you can look to see what all the courses are for that particular major, as well as reading a course description. So every single course that we offer at this university does have a brief course description. So I usually will tell my students to read through those course descriptions. If the courses that they're reading about sound really exciting, they're on the right track. If they're going, ooh, I don't think I'd want to take that course, they may want to start looking at some other majors to explore. So that information is on our undergraduate catalog and located on Missouri State's website. So if you haven't already checked it out, that's a good place to get going.
Since we started a little bit after 4 o'clock, we're going to stay on for a little while longer for those of you who want to, you know, remain and keep asking questions. You know, to Tracy's point about, you were just talking about
the undergraduate catalog.
The catalog, sorry. I lost my place for a second. That you're going to have an activity in your GEP class that, two things. One, we're going to have an academic advisor presentation that's been recorded on video that you'll watch that will show you how to use that catalog, how to do your trial schedule builder, how to explore majors. And so there's a couple of really great activities in there that will help you in that process. The other activity that we're going to have you do is plan out your 4-year guide to graduation. One of the most important things that you're doing as a first-year student is figuring out what are the things I need to know, what are the steps I have to take to complete my degree. You know, we're here to help you get your degree, and you've got to create a roadmap to that. So your GEP class is essentially your roadmap to what it means to be a college student, but also what do I need to do to graduate. So we're going to have you do what's called a 4-year guide. And it's basically semester by semester planning out what you're going to take to complete the major and minor that you are interested in at the moment. Okay. It's not set in stone. It's a planning document for you. And it is the most eye-opening activity, I think, for a lot of our first-year students when they realize, oh, these are all the classes I'm going to take. And when you see it on paper or on your computer in an Excel file, you may look at those courses and say, that's not at all what I thought this major was going to involve. And then you decide, I'm going to explore some other things. And so planning out that roadmap to graduation is so important. We've had so many of the GEP students come back to us the second semester, the third semester, a year later, and say, I'm still using that 4-year guide because it helps me stay on track. So we do provide a lot of resources for you, and that's why we have you do that activity in your GEP class, because it's the most beneficial for you, especially for those of you who are planners. But those of you who are not so much planners, it's a window into understanding what your courses are required to complete your degree. And that includes things like planning for study away, as Tracy talked about, maybe for an internship, maybe for a practicum that you need to do for your degree. So it includes all those things. And we want you to think about maybe how summers can be integral to you completing your degree, and how that all works together. So,
and that's also helpful too if you're thinking about maybe you're someone who's bringing in some dual credit from high school, and you are thinking, I'm bringing in 24, 30 credit hours, and maybe I might want to see about adding a second major if I have scholarship money and I can still finish everything in 4 years. The 4-year guide is a great way of looking at that.
right.
Maybe you're thinking to yourself, you know what, I have to work. I know I was in that situation when I was in college. I had to work my way through school. And so there are times where maybe I could only take 12 hours because I had to work a lot of hours. And so I knew it was going to take me a little bit longer to finish up. Where will I take, will I take summer classes? I could talk to my academic advisor about seeing, how that might work out in my plan. If I'm going to study away, how will that impact me for finishing up in 4 years? Maybe I'm thinking to myself, it's probably going to take me 4.5 years. That's okay. We want you to be thinking through these decisions early on.
Yeah. And
that way, then you can make sure that you plan accordingly on that. Everyone has a different story they're bringing into the university. So for you, maybe getting done in 4 years is not realistic. Maybe you're going to be finishing up in 5 years. That's fine too. It's just really important that you achieve the goals that you wish to achieve. And we have a lot of resources on campus that can help you do that.
Somebody asked about, are there people on campus to help you decide on a major? Yes. That's going to be through the Academic Advising and Transfer Center. Those are specially trained and dedicated advisors to help students who are undecided and exploring about their major. They're very well prepared to talk about all the majors on campus. They can connect you with a faculty member in an area or a staff member so that you might go and meet with them in their office to explore a little bit more. My home department is communication, and when I was an advisor in that program, I would regularly have 4, 5, 6 students per semester who would come and meet with me just to interview me about what it means to be a comm or a communication major. So that's part of your job, is to explore them. The advisor is your first go-to person, and they'll help you explore things. You might take some online assessments. Our Career Center, for example, is got some online tests that you can take, and it will tell you, based on your skills and your interests, here's a list of 4 or 5 majors that you might want to explore. So that academic advisor is going to point you to that resource, have you take that, and then explore from that point. So a lot of really great opportunities connecting your advising with career interests and major choices. So yes, great folks. So if you come in as an undecided or exploratory student, you'll be paired with that academic advisor to help you explore it.
Also at the Career Center, they offer some mock interviews, some resume tips on things. They'll give you some career inventories, as Kelly was mentioning. They can help you with looking for internships. Maybe you also are thinking about a career in something and you're not really sure if it's really what you want to do. You could do some career shadowing, and they'll help you with that. So it's a great, it's another one of our really good resources that we have.
Now, somebody asked, for a parent of a student who lives out of state, how do you ask questions? Probably want to recommend to you, we have a student success information line. And that information line, you can come, and it comes through our office, by the way, and you can either email us at studentsuccess@missourustate.edu, or you can text us at our Student Success info line and ask your question. So if you just want to ask some basic questions and you want to learn a little bit more, start with our email. My guess is that parents would probably want to start with that. We find that more students text us on our information line than our, sorry, I'm just checking to make sure our light doesn't go out. So again, it's studentssuccess@missouri-state.edu. And Tracy or I will be happy to answer your questions. And if you want to text us, you can go to our website and just type in Student Success info line, and it'll give you that number to be able to text to us. So,
and do you want to talk about texting?
Sure. Okay. One way that we keep in touch with our first-year students is by using our texting system. And so we'll, both advisors and our office will be using that texting to send out helpful reminders to students, occasionally some student success tips and pro tips about how to be successful, planning for midterm grades to come out, providing references about academic coaches and peer counselors. So we use that as a way to keep in touch with students. So you should get some information during your SOAR session about the fact that we're going to be using texting. So that's going to be an area that we find is really helpful to keep us connected with students. So it looks like we're pretty close to our time. I know we're already 10 minutes over our original time frame, but we really wanted to give you an opportunity. I see that there's still well over 35 folks on the call. So we just want to give you an opportunity to ask some more questions and be happy to help you out. Let's see. So I see if you look in the chat, there's the links to the Student Success email page and also about reserving textbooks. I see, so our admissions folks are helping out there. And you can also email us at firstyearprograms@missouri-state.edu and mention in your email that you talked to Kelly and Tracy on the live chat, and we'll know that it's you asking some follow-up questions. So, well, Stacy, thanks to you too for being on here and asking us some questions. We're glad that you found it helpful. And so we're gonna stay on here for a few minutes more to see if you have some additional questions. Yeah, go Bears, Courtney. We're all about that. So happy to still answer any questions that you have. And again, reach out to us in other ways via email or texting. So with that, how would we rate our room?
Definitely major improvement. Thank you very much for that question.
Yeah.
I would say I would give us about an 8. So 8 out of 10.
Yep. We like having the student over our shoulders, kind of keeping watch of us. And we've got some of the old common readers in the back there and a little tiny bear. So we think it's pretty good. 8, ooh, I'd say 10 out of 10. Thanks, Jim. Yep.
Kelly mentioned about common readers. We haven't really taken an opportunity yet to talk about that. In your first year seminar course, GEP 101, all sections of that course will be assigned and students will read our common reader. A common reader is a book that has been selected specifically for our first year students. It serves as an opportunity to help engage students with the campus, with the public affairs mission, and more so to serve an introduction to scholarly life at the university. All of our students, and we're anticipating quite a few students for the fall semester, they'll be assigned that same book. And it's a great way of if you know you're meeting someone who's a first year student, you have nothing else to talk about, you can start talking about the common reader. So it really is a great way to kind of see the public affairs mission in action, to kind of get that ability to do some critical thinking, have those conversations with your instructor as well as your students. The common reader for this fall semester is Tara Westover's Educated. And so that is a book that we will be, and Kelly's going to show it to you. And we're really excited about the book for the fall. So It's broken up into 3 parts, and it's a story about literally a girl's journey through her family and going off to college and the experiences she had. So I think that would be something that's going to be very relatable for most of us.
So Ashton asked about how you access your student portal. So you're going to go to missouristate.edu, and once you're there, you're going to hover your cursor on the top right-hand portion of the web page until you get a little drop-down box, and it will say log in, and then you're going to click on which the My Missouri State portal to log in to there, and that's where you're going to log in with your Bear Pass ID and your password. So your Bear Pass ID is usually a combination of some letters and numbers that you picked, and then your Missouri State password. So that's how you're going to get into there. And if you have any problems, our computer services help desk, if you want to get online and chat with them, you can. On that web page, if you just in the search button, in the search box, go ahead and type in help desk, and it'll get you to their web page for that access. So we're going to pop off here. Our admissions counselors have left the room, leaving us to the room. And I see, even though some questions are still coming in, we'd love to keep talking with you via email or whatever. So we hope to talk with you soon. And thanks from Tracy and Kelly and First Year Programs. And we can't wait to see you here this fall.
Thank you so much. We've enjoyed our time.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody. See you later.
Bye-bye.
Bye.